hey, so you're mid sales call and things are going great. You have your prospect nodding along, saying, yeah, they're very, very interested in what you do. You drop your offer, you drop the amount that it's going to cost to invest with you to get this job done. And all of a sudden you hear the, uh, what if I'm not happy objection? And man, does that objection sucks because it starts giving you a little bit of doubt in the back of your mind. But I'm here to tell you that it is a 100% salvageable objection. I'm having a hard time saying that. Uh, because at the bottom line, what they're really concerned with is dealing with doubt. And it's all about risk mitigation. Like, how do they know that if I decide to work with you, that I am going to get a solid reward for the risk that I'm going to take going on a whim working with you? By the way, if we haven't met yet, my name is Emmanuel, and I am the founder and kind of chief talking head guy of this cool little part of the internet. I also run a consulting agency specifically designed to help service providers grow and scale their business using systems. Now, this particular objection, I used to hear it a lot. Very, very early on in my business. And in addition to that, I work with a lot of founders. And whenever they hear this, I know the exact problem that's happening. So having said that, I'm going to get into a lot of really good stuff. But just a quick reminder, every single one of these videos usually comes with a workbook, leaving the link to the workbook in the description below if you want to follow along. Oh, and at the very end, I should also add that I got a cool little script, objection handle script that you can practice and utilize to really diffuse this particular objection. Anyway, some context first. The idea of what if I'm not happy is because the people or this prospect is feeling uncertain about what you have to offer. So, interesting story. I was in a mastermind and I was put on a hot seat to really narrow down my offer. So, shout out to one of my mentors, James, who put me on the hot seat and kind of made me feel some type of way. Not very comfortable because he essentially laid out all of my blind spots to all of my peers. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was a very uncomfortable feeling, but at the end of the day, there was some big aha moments from it. But the premise behind this is that us as service providers need to be able to provide a solid promise. And if that promise is not reached, there needs to be some sort of way to mitigate that unattainable promise that we inevitably have made to our prospects. And if we're able to do that successfully, well, hey, guess what? We're going to be able to land this client or this prospect that we're hopefully planning to convert into a client. And so the way that he broke it down was real simple. He used the analogy of a diamond, but in this particular case, I want to switch it. Same 5 points. I want to add my own little flavor to it. I'm going to call it a pentagon. All right. So check this out. See, here's the thing. If you want to get over the what if I'm not happy objection, you truly have to understand what makes up a really great offer. Because a really great offer, in this particular case, if we could think of it as kind of like a seesaw, a really great offer weighs down the reward, W-A-R-D, and it mitigates the risk. And if we do a good job where we're really weighing in the reward and really mitigating the risk, it becomes a heck of a lot easier to get the no-brainer, yeah, this is a really great deal. Let's work together. Let's do it. Now, in order to understand how to do this, we have to focus on the 5 core components of what makes up a really great offer. The first piece is what is called the promise. Promise is defined as the thing that you're planning to do for your prospect or your perfect future client. I'm going to deliver X in Y amount of time, all right? And if it's a solid promise that actually solves a problem, then hey, guess what? Your prospects' ears are going to perk up and they're going to say, hey, I actually need that solution. Now, on the opposite end of that promise, the question that always appears in the back of your prospect's mind is, well, what happens if you don't deliver on that promise? And that leads us to the next point of the pentagon, which is the guarantee. By the way, quick side note, when we're talking about our guarantee, there's really 2 forms of a guarantee that I like to use. I call it the divorce guarantee and the dating guarantee. So hear me out for a minute. We need a dating guarantee simply because what happens if they decide to employ us for our services and somewhere in between us delivering this product or the service that we're doing for our prospects or for our future clients, they get a weird vibe from us. They don't really like us. They don't like our team. We drop the ball. They get annoyed. We need to give them an out to mitigate the risk of us working together. So that usually comes in the form of maybe like a money back guarantee or something like that. But in addition to that, we need to also have a divorce guarantee. Divorce guarantee is defined as, in my world, we've been working together for a while. We haven't been able to deliver the promise in the time that we initially allotted for. So let's say that my job is to give you 100 leads in 30 days, and it's day 31 and I didn't hit my 100 leads. Like, what is the divorce guarantee? What happens after the fact that I made a promise to you by a specific date and I didn't hit that promise by that date? And if you really pay attention to solid offers across the board, not necessarily just for your business or your industry, but across the board, you will find versions and variations of a really solid guarantee. All right, anyways, moving on. The next piece of this is that in addition to having a promise and guarantee, we need to actually provide a little bit more weight on the reward side in the form of bonuses. All right, let's break down bonuses for a minute. You see, bonuses are no more than points of friction that your client experiences in working with you that would otherwise hinder you being able to deliver your promise, for you being able to deliver a result. So let's say, for example, I don't know, you're a bookkeeper and your promise is that you need to, reconcile the books for the past 3 years. Well, a pain point, a friction point, is getting the login credentials from your client so that you can access all of their checking and savings accounts. Well, a bonus would be, well, hey, instead of you trying to figure out how to get all that information, how about we just hop on a quick 15-minute call and I'll walk you through this whole process step by step. Another really important thing to note about bonuses is that typically we already have a form of a bonus inside of how we fulfill for our clients. We just haven't talked about it enough. And all bonuses are doing is just bringing that information of that extra work that we're going to do to make it easier for our clients up to the top, up to the forefront, so that they understand that, hey, I want to make this job as easy for you as possible. All right, moving on. The next point that I want to mention in creating and crafting a solid offer is price. Because at the end of the day, you have to make it easy for them to pay for your service. Price can essentially look like a payment plan that maybe balloons up to a big amount, a simple low ticket deposit, so it's an easy way to get a yes. Maybe it's a pay in full where they save money as opposed to paying the entire contract amount. But the idea here is simple. If we can incentivize them by making it easy for them to pay, then it becomes a heck of a lot easier for us to close. And last but not least, the most important piece of a really great offer is it comes in two forms: scarcity or urgency. All right, I'm not going to write it out, but you get the idea. If there are people on the fence, you can simply nudge them off the fence by making something a limited quantity, or by making something disappear after a limited amount of time. That really incentivizes people to act faster and move a little quicker when it comes to making a decision. Okay, so just to quickly recap, that objection of, well, what if I'm not happy? Remember, it's no more than your prospects feeling doubt and they want to mitigate the risk. So your job is to craft a really great offer so that risk mitigation is easy and you provide them with something so good that it is just a no-brainer for them to say yes to. Now, having said that, I did mention that I do have a cool little objection handle that I like to use if ever there is the, hey, I'm not sure if we should work together, if I'm not sure if this will fix the problem. So this is how it goes. Hear me out. Let's look at the last 12 months. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that you spent money on that you probably didn't need. And I can almost guarantee that you're going to be doing that again in these next 12 months. Here's some real talk. Here's the honest truth. You're going to be buying the lessons that I'm going to be presenting to you in my solution one way or another. So the question really is, do you want to spend time or do you want to spend money to acquire those lessons? Listen, we always spend on what we value the least. If we value time over money, well, hey, guess what? Then we're going to spend money to keep our time, which is the most important asset that we have. But if we value money over time, then we're going to waste our time to try to save a couple bucks. So let's play best case, worst case, because at the end of the day, both of these are risk-free. Only difference is one gets you closer to your goal a heck of a lot faster than the other. No risk with no upside or no risk with no potential downside. Which one would you choose? And at the end of the day, it's always really great to remind them about your guarantee, because if your guarantee does a really good job of mitigating risk, hey, guess what? It's going to be easy to get that yes. Alrighty, if you found this cool objection handle helpful, then I highly recommend that you check out this one here.